Hello and welcome to those endless mysteries. Today's video is going to be on the Wendigo. Sometimes I get stuck on Bigfoot and Dogman sightings just because of the vast number of them. So I thought I would change it up just a little for you all. So I hope you enjoy this one. Don't forget that every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday there will be posted a new video for you. So hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe and notification bell so that you can keep up with all of our latest videos. So let's get started on this one then. The Wendigo is said to be one of the Native Americans' most feared and ferocious monsters. For the most part, it is described as a tall, crazed, and very violent creature that is said to roam the forests of the Pacific Northwest, ranging from the most northwestern states to the Canadian frontier. It's said to be able to take over a person's mind, with it being a very large humanoid beast that dines upon human flesh. It's also said that if this creature takes over a person's mind, and if that person eats of human flesh, that this person will also transform into a Wendigo, becoming a kind of shapeshifter which will turn him or her into this creature. I guess the scariest thing about these creatures to me is the mind control it seems to have over other people. Not being able to control yourself at all just terrifies me. If this creature takes over your body and mind, it's never going to be for something good. It's always for a terrible and horrific reason, with this creature always craving human flesh. Could you imagine having something like this thing take over your mind and having you to eat your own friends and family? Just the thought should run chills all over your body. I know it does mine when I truly think about it. This is said to have happened enough so that they have a medical term for this. It's called Wendigo psychosis, with this being considered by some psychiatrists to be some kind of syndrome, which causes a person to intensely crave human flesh, with the person suffering from a fear of becoming a cannibal, with most of these reports of this syndrome coming out from around the Great Lakes area, within the US and Canada. This psychosis is said to occur in people during the winter months, with individuals who has been isolated by heavy snow for long periods of time. Now to me this creature sounds even worse. As I'm looking into this beast, I've heard a lot of weird stories about these things, but I haven't really dug into them that much. Now that I am, it's kind of spooky. Now that I know that there is a real syndrome out there, now I have to think to myself, is it a syndrome that's causing these people to act this way? Or could it truly be a creature that might be controlling their minds? In the paranormal, you can find that many of these strange creatures goes way back in time. The Native Americans believed in these creatures for hundreds of years. So could this creature be more of an evil spirit or demon for that matter? But this creature is also said to take solid form. So how does this creature or the syndrome work on these people? It's said that the people say the initial symptoms are poor appetite, with nausea and vomiting, with the persons developing a delusion of being transformed into a Wendigo monster, with these people beginning to see everyone around them as being edible, while at the same time, these people seem to be very afraid of becoming a cannibal. So could these people be going somewhat insane? Or could they truly be some kind of creature driving them insane? by putting these thoughts and urges into their heads. Now, as far as the creature's physical description goes, it's said that these creatures are giants, with them standing between 14 and 15 foot tall, with them also being described as having glowing eyes, while having very long and yellow teeth. Another thing the creature seems to have is a very long tongue, with some describing these creatures as having decaying skin with a tremendous smell that can engulf a person, while some people describe them as having matted hair and a strong odor. But according to one historian named Nathan Carlson, it's also been said that these creatures have large clawed hands with massive eyes like that of an owl, while others describe these things as skeleton-like creatures, with them having ash-tone skin, with so many people just disappearing around North America. Could this monster be one of them that has been turned into a Wendigo? One of the scariest and horrific stories of the Wendigo dates back to the 1800s of a Cree Native American named Swiftrunner. Now, Swiftrunner lived in an area of forest close to Edmonton, Canada, with his family, which included his wife along with his 6 children. His mother and his brother was also living there at the time, as winter hit in 1878, lasting well into 1879. As spring gave way to warmer weather, Swiftrunner turned up in St. Albert, Canada, where he told a horrifying story about how all his family had died over the winter, with him saying that his wife's 6 children, along with his mother and brother, had fallen victims to the passing winter, in which food was very scarce. So this sounded like a very hard winter, with the temperatures plunged to record lows at the time, so they couldn't get out and hunt. With the story that Swiftrunner was telling, it all sounded to be very plausible to some people, but others decided to look into the story, mainly due to Swiftrunner didn't seem or look emaciated. In fact, the story goes that Swiftrunner looked to be well fed and in good shape, for someone that survived where 9 others died from starving to death. So as the St. Albert police headed out to Swiftrunner's house to see if they could see for themselves what happened to the other 9 people that Swiftrunner said that didn't make it through the winter, the St. Albert police, to their horror, found eaten remains of Swiftrunner's family. Their flesh had been eaten and their bones had been gnawed upon, with suspicion soon arising that Swiftrunner had been possessed by a Wendigo. While being locked up, he soon began to exhibit strange and bizarre behavior. He would just start howling out of nowhere, while also growling at people and screaming as a wild man. There was even a strange tale of Swiftrunner transforming, with them saying that he transformed into a strange, savage-looking human, with this being a definitive sign of him being turned into a Wendigo. So was it the hard winter, or did a Wendigo take control of Swiftrunner and cause him to eat his family? So could Swiftrunner had been the strongest of them? And once they all started dying, could he had had just enough strength to start eating on them? Or did he kill each and every one of them? Did he just go insane from being locked in a house with no food? I'm for sure about one thing. People will sometimes break down and start eating each other, if it's the only way they see themselves surviving a nightmare situation. I hope I'm never put into that situation myself. So yeah, these creatures do freak me out. Give me a Bigfoot and a dogman coming at me. than just one of these Wendigo things. It's also said that these creatures has a more than canine hunger, that they can become so ravenous for human flesh that no matter how much they eat, they always want more. With these creatures devouring humans so ferociously while never being able to appease their appetites. Once these creatures have finished devouring one human, it instantly starts seeking another victim, never being fulfilled. The more these creatures eat, the more they have to eat. I did find another famous story about a Wendigo. Now, this story took place in 1906 about an alleged murder of a Wendigo. This story is about a man named Jack Fiddler and his brother Joseph Fiddler, which was Native Americans. But to tell you the truth, I'm not going to give their native names. I'm sure if I tried, I would totally butcher them. But like his father before him, Jack became a famous shaman for his ability to conjure animals and to protect his people against spells. With this ability, it was said that he could protect his people from the Wendigo, which is said to be a cannibalistic spirit that would possess people during frequent bouts of famine and disease. During his life, Jack Fiddler claimed to have defeated 14 of these creatures, with some of these Wendigos being sent by other tribe shamans to harm his own people, with others of his own band being infected as well, who would develop an incurable desire to eat human flesh. Jack was often asked to kill a very sick loved one before they could be turned into a Wendigo, while in some cases the Wendigo would ask to be euthanized before they turned fully, with the Wendigo being a him or her that thought they were being possessed could ask for this, according to their rights. It's said that Jack's own brother of Peter Flint was killed after turning into a Wendigo, when the food had run out during a trading expedition that he was on, with the HBC traders, Cree, and the missionaries being very aware of the Wendigo legend, even though they often explained this away as mental illness or superstitions. But even though they tried to explain these events away, the HBC Traders Company still has several incidents of people turning into a Wendigo and eating other people. These events are documented in the records of the company, with Jack Fiddler's reputation growing among these groups. It's said that he was approached by Cree ministers several times at Island Lake and asked by them to bring Christianity to his people. It's said that Jack respectfully heard their request, but that he didn't convert. So they were trying to get him to give up his ways then. So maybe Jack stuck to the old ways then like his father before him. So I take that as Jack was killing the Wendigo or people who they thought was Wendigos. But in early 1907, they were two Northwest Mounted Police officers visiting the island area where they were told of Jack Fiddler's power against the Wendigo, while seeking to introduce Canadian law to the North. The Mounties went to the Sucker camp that was at Deer Lake, with them arresting Jack Fiddler and his brother Joseph Fiddler for murder. Before leaving, they took an eyewitness while declaring that all the men had to give up any extra wives, with the elderly brothers being taken to the Norway house, where they were charged with murdering Joseph's daughter-in-law the year before, with the newspapers across Canada picking up the story, with the headlines reading of murder and devil worshiping. The people of Canada now demanding the conviction of these brothers, while with all the headlines, the police that were conducting the trial saw a big opportunity for fame and advancement. It's said that Jack Fiddler on September the 30th escaped during a walk outside, and that he is said to have hung himself nearby, with his dead body being discovered later on in the day. Now, as far as Joseph Fiddler goes, he still went to trial. However, Angus Ray, the eyewitness that they had brought back with them, testified that Joseph's daughter-in-law was killed while in deep pain and being incurably sick, according to their tribe's customs, saying that they were not aware of Canadian law. With him being pressed on the Wendigo issue, Ray admitted to the court that it was a belief among his people, and that Jack and Joseph were the two that was often asked to euthanize the very sick and stop a Wendigo from taking over. Despite some other strange and unreliable testimony from Ray, and other pleas from the HBC traders and some of the missionaries, Joseph was convicted and sentenced to death by Ellsworth Perry, the magistrate at the time. But after many appeals, the verdict was overturned. But as the verdict was being overturned, Joseph Fiddler had already passed away 3 days earlier in 1909. So I hope you all have enjoyed this video. If so, hit that like button. And if you're new to our channel, hit that subscribe and notification bell so you can keep up with all of our latest videos. And if you have the time, jump on over to teesprings.com/stores/those-endless-mysteries, where you can help support our channel and get a nice shirt at the same time. So till next time, have a great day, and thanks for watching those endless mysteries.